The oceans are calm, no storms, no waves, just silence. But satellites see something Earth has never shown before. The sky is heating up. A glowing ring of radiation wraps around the planet like a noose. And beneath the Arctic ice, one man sees the truth before anyone else. Admiral Nelson, visionary, stubborn, and out of time, knows the world won't survive unless he does the unthinkable. Not someday, not soon, now. The world isn't drifting toward disaster. It's already inside one. And whatever is happening above the Earth won't wait for permission. The Arctic wind cuts across frozen instruments at the High Arctic Research Base. Admiral Nelson studies the satellite feeds alone, long after others have stopped looking. What should be invisible is burning bright. The Earth's radiation belt has ignited, a glowing ring wrapping the planet like a warning flare. Hotter, wider, growing by the hour. No model predicted this. No one planned for it. Temperatures keep rising, icebergs shudder, glaciers crack and leak, slow and unstoppable. Across the world, government laboratories buzz with alarm, but not agreement. Nelson doesn't hedge his words. He briefs his closest colleagues, scientists, meteorologists, naval engineers, and tells them exactly what he sees. The energy is increasing exponentially. If nothing is done, the Earth itself will overheat. Not someday, soon. In Washington, the response is colder than the Arctic. In a polished briefing room, officials listen, nod, and quietly dismiss him. Alarmist, overreaction, panic dressed up as science. They argue about optics, escalation, public fear, while the planet keeps heating up. Nelson refuses to back down. He proposes something no one wants to hear. A nuclear missile fired into the sky, precisely calibrated to disrupt the radiation belt and bleed off its energy before the planet overheats. It's unprecedented, untested, terrifying. Some scientists call it reckless. Others warn it could tear the atmosphere apart. The argument stops being about equations and models. It turns into something heavier: responsibility, authority. Who gets to decide the fate of the world? Hours stretch into days. Nelson keeps pressing, unmoved by closed doors and polite skepticism. But fear wins the room. Political leaders worry about fallout, about public panic, about what it means to launch a nuclear weapon on purpose. In the end, they issue their order. Stand down. Nelson is left with a choice no scientist, no sailor should ever face. Do nothing and watch the world burn. Or act alone, knowing there's no permission coming. Denied on the surface, Nelson takes his argument below it, into the sea. Far from briefing rooms and political standoffs, the sea view waits beneath the Arctic ice. Steel gray, sleek, silent. She is the fastest, deepest diving submarine ever built, a machine designed to go where no one else can. Built by Admiral Nelson not just as a weapon, but as an answer to problems no one wanted to imagine. More vision than vessel. Captain Lee Crane steps aboard with a measured calm, a seasoned commander, a professional. He respects Nelson deeply, but his loyalty is clear. To his crew, to orders, to the chain of command that keeps men alive beneath miles of ice. Crane is briefed on the mission, a routine deep dive test under the polar ice cap, a chance to prove the Seaview's limits before active service. Nothing more. Not yet. Inside, the crew moves through narrow corridors and glowing control panels. Sonar operators, engineers, deck officers, each focused on their role, unaware of the storm building above them. Outside, icebergs groan and shift against the hull, ancient and indifferent. Inside, engines begin to hum. The hatch seals. The last figures on the surface fade from view. And the Seaview slips beneath the ice, carrying men who have no idea how far this mission is about to descend. As the Seaview descends, the ocean closes in around her. Water and shadow stretch in every direction, Pressure builds against the hull. Lights flicker. Sonar pings echo through the control room, steady as a pulse. For the crew, this is pride. Precision, proof that the machine works exactly as promised. For Nelson, it's something else entirely. He knows what isolation does, what pressure does. Survival isn't just about steel and speed. It's about what happens when there's no way back. A quiet tension settles between him and Captain Crane. Nelson understands every inch of the Seaview's design. Crane commands every man inside it. Over the intercom, Nelson speaks calmly, but his warning is clear. This dive is taking them closer to danger than anyone has been told. Crane answers with discipline and resolve, but the hesitation shows. Just for a moment. Then the Seaview slips beneath the ice cap. The surface disappears. Communication fades. The outside world vanishes completely. All that remains is the sound of the ocean pressing in. Above them, the Earth continues to heat in silence. Below, the Seaview moves deeper into territory where trust will be tested and fear will no longer stay quiet. The deeper they go, the harder it becomes to turn back. The first warning doesn't come as a sound. It comes as a shudder. Deep below safe limits, the Seaview trembles, as if the ocean itself has shifted. Instruments spike, needles jerk wildly across their dials. Then, the shockwave hits. A subsea earthquake tears through the trench, violent and sudden, rolling beneath them like a collapsing mountain. Men are thrown from their stations. Red lights flood the control room. Alarms scream into life. The hull groans as pressure slams against it. Somewhere aft, metal shrieks. It's a sound no submariner ever forgets. Damage reports pour in. Systems flicker. A ballast tank ruptures. Seawater forces its way inside, inch by relentless inch. The Seaview, built to conquer the deep, suddenly feels fragile, small. Before repairs can stabilize the ship, sonar lights up again. Movement, fast, closing. There's barely time to react before something massive slams into the hull. Not rock, not wreckage. Something alive. The collision sends the Seaview into a violent spin. External cameras catch only fragments. A vast shadow sliding past the hull. Too large, too fast. Whatever struck them doesn't linger. It doesn't have to. The ocean has made its point. Emergency teams race through narrow corridors as the pressure rises. Equipment breaks loose. A crewman is crushed before anyone can reach him. Another is burned when a control panel shorts and explodes in sparks. Orders are shouted over blaring alarms. Repairs are done by hand, in darkness, with the sea pressing in from every side. Nelson watches without a word. His calculations were exact, his engineering flawless, and none of it matters. Nature doesn't negotiate. The Seaview survives barely, but the damage drags her deeper. Gravity pulls, water floods, control slips away. Man has built a miracle. The ocean answers with indifference. And while the crew fights for every inch below the surface, the world above continues to heat, silent and unaware. With the Seaview damaged and trapped far below the surface, Admiral Nelson makes the decision he's been avoiding. He tells them the truth. In the control room, surrounded by humming consoles and exhausted faces, Nelson explains what this mission was always meant to be. The dive, the depth, the risks. None of it was routine. The Seaview is carrying a nuclear missile, not as a weapon of war, but as a last attempt to cool the planet. The missile is designed to be fired into the radiation belt itself. If it isn't neutralized, the Earth will burn. The room goes still. Fear spreads, quiet and immediate. Crewmen exchange looks. Officers demand clarification. A nuclear detonation, even in space, carries risks no one can fully predict. Fallout, miscalculation, ending the world by mistake instead of fire. Captain Lee Crane steps forward. He's calm, controlled, but shaken. He challenges Nelson not as a subordinate, but as a commander responsible for every life on board. Nelson had no authority to make this decision alone. No permission, no mandate from anyone above the ice. The argument ignites. Not over science, over who gets to decide. Some officers side with Nelson. If extinction is coming, legality no longer matters. Others side with Crane. No one man gets to choose the fate of the planet. Orders are questioned, authority blurs, trust splinters under pressure. Then it breaks. A group of officers moves to relieve Nelson of command. Not out of anger, out of fear. Fear of annihilation, fear of history, fear of being remembered as the crew who ended the world. Nelson is confined to his quarters. The door seals shut. Captain Crane assumes control. His voice is steady. His thoughts are anything but. He stares at the missile status display, fully aware that whatever choice comes next will define more than his career. It will define survival. The Seaview continues forward, damaged and divided, drifting deeper into crushing depths. The submarine holds together. Its unity does not. Above the waves, the world begins to come apart. Temperatures surge past anything on record. Thermometers in Tokyo, Paris, New York climb and keep climbing. Cities tense. Panic spreads. Traffic grinds to a halt as evacuation orders collide with failing infrastructure. Airports shut down, trains stall, streets turn into ovens. Satellite feeds show Arctic ice shelves collapsing into the sea. Coastlines retreat as entire towns are abandoned in real time. News reports stutter through overloaded channels, each update worse than the last. Governments scramble, but bureaucracy moves slower than heat. Advisors argue, committees clash, debates rage long after debate has lost its power. Nothing can be reversed by protocol now. Finally, command centers across the world reach the same conclusion. Washington, London, Moscow. They were warned. Admiral Nelson was right. The calculations, the charts, the urgency, all of it was correct. But the cost of hesitation has already been paid. Orders finally reach the Seaview. Proceed with the launch, immediately. Commands race across oceans and continents, sent by radio, satellite, even Morse code. But deep beneath the surface, the messages arrive fractured and delayed, distorted by distance, pressure, and isolation. The crew pieces them together line by line while fighting to keep the submarine alive. Inside the control room, officers read the intercepted transmissions in silence. The tension doesn't come from doubt anymore. That part is settled. It comes from timing. Validation has arrived, but far too late to feel reassuring. Every second now is survival. Every choice irreversible. The world has finally agreed. Now the Seaview has to act. The ocean has teeth. As the Seaview pushes into uncharted depths, sonar lights up with a massive presence. Alive, enormous, moving fast. There's no time to prepare. The attack comes without warning. A colossal squid-like creature slams into the hull. Steel shudders, alarms scream. Water seeps through hairline fractures, then surges into the aft compartments in violent torrents. Crewmen race to reinforce bulkheads. Torpedoes are fired, precious and limited. Oxygen consumption spikes. Pressure builds with every uter. Engineers work in impossible conditions, welding through flooding corridors, rerouting power by hand, patching ruptures with arms, shaking from exhaustion and cold. Outside, the Seaview twists in the creature's grip. Cameras offer only fragments. A massive tentacle scraping along steel. A shadow sliding past. The hull flexing under stress it was never meant to endure. The attack doesn't slow. Every evasive move pushes the submarine closer to its breaking point, and every second tests how much longer the crew can hold on. Captain Crane takes control of the chaos. His orders are precise, measured, relentless. Repairs are coordinated, evasive maneuvers calculated. Every command is designed to keep the Seaview moving and the crew alive. Nelson monitors the radiation readings without distraction. The mission cannot slip now, not because of fear, not because of confusion. Every man on board understands the truth. Survive long enough to save the world. Eventually, the creature withdraws into the blackness below. The hull is scarred. The crew is battered. Oxygen reserves hover dangerously low. But the Seaview is still operational. Through ingenuity, teamwork, and stubborn resolve, they make her ready to continue. Above the waves, the world may be burning. Down here, survival comes first. And every scrape, every dent, every breath earned under pressure brings them one step closer to finishing what they came to do. The Seaview remains deep beneath the ice cap, tension pressing down as heavily as the water outside. Crew members move through the corridors in near silence, repairing systems, running diagnostics, doing their jobs without small talk. The air is thick with what hasn't been said. Captain Lee Crane finally steps into Admiral Nelson's quarters. Authority and obedience hang between them, stretched to breaking point. "Admiral," Crane says, his voice steady, controlled. "I understand now. You were right." Nelson nods. Just once. A faint smile flickers across his face, more relief than triumph. His confinement is lifted. Slowly, the fractured chain of command begins to repair itself. Officers return to their stations. Murmurs of relief ripple through the crew, not celebratory, just steadier, focused. Everyone understands what's at stake now. Nelson and Crane walk back to the control room together. They review the missile systems side by side. Every calculation checked, every mechanism verified, then checked again. Outside, the Seaview glides deeper into the dark, silent, relentless, a steel vessel carrying the last chance the world has left. As the final checks are completed, the weight of the mission settles in. This is no drill, no test run. They are preparing to change the fate of the planet. Faces that once carried fear now hold something firmer. Resolve. Hands that hesitated earlier move with certainty, not because the danger has passed, but because leadership has been earned, not imposed. Trust wasn't restored by rank or command. It was forged under pressure, by depth, by damage, by being wrong and then choosing to act anyway. The plan is locked in, course set, systems primed, and still a quiet tension lingers. Even united, even prepared, there are no guarantees left. The Seaview rises slowly, breaking free of the deep and cutting toward the surface. Inside, the crew stands silent. No one speaks. Every sound feels too loud for the moment they're in. The missile is armed, aligned, ready. Every eye tracks every gauge. Fingers hover just above the controls. Then it happens. The launch hits with a deep shudder and a roar that vibrates through the hull. The missile tears upward, a streak of silver fire punching free of the ocean, then the sky, then the last traces of doubt. Above them, the radiation belt reacts. A blinding halo ignites around the Earth, a ring of raw energy flaring across the heavens. For a moment, it looks like the sky itself is burning. Then everything goes dead. Communications collapse into static. Every line goes silent. The Seaview is yanked back down, dragged beneath the surface as unseen forces pull at her hull. Steel groans. Lights flicker. Hands grip consoles as the ocean closes in again. No one cheers. Not yet. The choice has been made. The gamble is complete. And now the planet's survival hangs in the space between heartbeats. All they can do is wait, hope, and endure. The Seaview drifts upward, battered but intact. The groans of stressed metal fade to silence. The crew moves with deliberate care, checking every gauge, every system, every seam along the hull. Radiation meters flicker, then begin to fall. Slowly, steadily, temperatures stabilize, reports filter in from above. Ice shelf collapses stop. The chain reaction halts. The planet holds. There is no applause, no cheers, no grand moment, just a world catching its breath. Inside the submarine, exhaustion settles in alongside relief and disbelief. No one speaks at first. Words feel too small. Eyes stay on the screens. Fingers continue their work. Calculations are checked, then checked again. The conclusion becomes unavoidable. It worked. Humanity stepped back from the edge. But no one pretends this is an ending. It's a pause. The first clean breath after nearly drowning. The calm that follows disaster, not the absence of it. In the quiet, with trust restored and lessons carved deep, the Seaview begins its slow return toward the surface. One by one, the crew allows themselves small, cautious glances of hope. The world never knows how close it came. No parades, no headlines. The oceans stay calm, the skies cool. Life goes on, unaware of how narrowly it avoided collapse. Admiral Nelson stands on the deck of the Seaview, staring out at an endless horizon. He isn't waiting for permission. He isn't looking for praise. He wanted only time. Time for the world to survive its own mistakes. Some rescues don't happen in daylight. They don't leave monuments or speeches behind. They happen far below the surface. And if this journey stayed with you, if it stirred a memory or cracked something open, stay with us. There are more stories worth remembering.
Wow, that was weird.